So, was Marilyn Monroe's death a conspiracy? I'm halfway on this one, but I really think so. She dated both Robert and John Kennedy, so I think there's a possibility. The image is stamped into the pages of history. On August the 5th, 1962, a lifeless Marilyn Monroe lies naked, face down, on her bed, with a telephone receiver in her hand and an empty bottle of Nembutal beside her in her Brentwood, Los Angeles home. The official cause of the 36-year-old's death was probable suicide, but 55 years later, conjecture about what really happened is as strong as ever, with the new conspiracy theories continuing and materialize, and the old ones are still being scrutinized. Conspiracy theory number one: the Kennedys did it, which is what I think. Just 2.5 months after her famously sultry performance of "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" to Mr. Kennedy, at his 45th birthday on May the 19th, 1962, at Madison Square Garden, Monroe, born Norma Jean Murchison, would be dead. Kennedy and his younger brother, U.S. Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy, feature heavily in several Monroe murder conspiracies. In 2007, Australian filmmaker Philippe Mora discovered a particularly redacted FBI document that suggested Robert Kennedy also said to have an affair with Monroe, like his more famous brother, John Kennedy, may have been more complicit in a plot to induce her suicide. Also implicated is Kennedy's then brother-in-law and Rat Packer actor Peter Lawford as the conspiracy's lead. Monroe's psychiatrist Dr. Ralph Greenson, housekeeper Eunice Murray, and agent Pat Nickum. The depressive Monroe, who had struggled with drug and alcohol abuse, would have known to seek attention by staging suicide attempts, and the document suggests that she was given the means to do so. The barbiturate Satanol by alleged conspirators, but was then left to die. As many theories have pre-offered before, the FBI file infers that the alleged plot was carried out to silence Monroe, who had threatened to reveal her affairs with the Kennedy brothers. See, this is what I'm talking about. I believe this is it. Monroe was also thought to be a liability, allegedly keeping records of conversations detailing highly confidential government information in a little red book. I believe this is it. But that's just one theory. Second theory is the mafia did it. Well, we ain't found Jimmy Hoffa yet, so it's a theory. Another sensational Bobby Kennedy theory materialized with the allegation of renowned wiretapper Bernard Spindle, who also bugged Monroe's house, possibly on the orders of croaked Union leader Jimmy Hoffa or Chicago mafia boss Sam Gacana, despite reported sightings of him in LA and entering her house. Kennedy stated that he was in San Francisco on the night of Monroe's death, but Spindle claims to have heard Kennedy and Monroe fighting that night with Lawford present, followed by a loud bang, thought to be the moment of her death. The recordings were reportedly seized and destroyed in 1966. Sam wanted Monroe, who was thought to had a relationship with his henchman Johnny Roselli, dead, according to the biographer Darren Porter, author of Marilyn at Rainbow's End, Sex, Lies, Murder, and the Great Cover-Up, as she was threatening to blow the lid off his operations. Don is said to have had Monroe over the barrow of coercing the Screen Siren's first Hollywood contract in return for her seduction of powerful men that the mobster wanted to blackmail. So he was just using her as a ploy. A lot of people who had a lot to lose if Marilyn spoke out. Porter said she was making a lot of dangerous statements and didn't realize she was just playing with the big boys. I think Marilyn got in over her head. Porter believes 5 mafia hitmen were responsible for her murder on the order of Mr. Sam, using a washcloth drenched in chloroform, then stripping Monroe and giving her a barbiturate enema. Oh Jesus! In another twist, Porter posits that it could also have been one of the Kennedys that hired the Bob Moss to get rid of Monroe. They could have. They had enough pull. Theory number 3. She knew too much about aliens. Okay, this one's better. One of the notier theories is discussed in the new documentary Unacknowledged by conspiracy theorist Dr. Stephen Greer, who claims Monroe was murdered by the CIA because she knew the truth about Roswell and planned to reveal all. In the film, Greer produces what he says is a classified CIA memo written just 2 days before Monroe's death. In the alleged memo that Greer believes refers to the storied Roswell UFO crash in New Mexico in 1947. The JFK is said to have told Monroe he witnessed evidence of things from outer space at a secret airbase. We have a number of smoking gun documents, including a wiretap of Marilyn Monroe the day before she died, which has never been declassified. Greer writes she was threatening to hold a press conference to tell all the people that Jack Kennedy had told her during pillow talk about having seen debris from an extraterrestrial vehicle at what the document calls a secret airbase. She was murdered for this. Oh, here's conspiracy number 4. I don't want him up here. That's the reason why I'm not there now. Fake death theories are a dime a dozen, but when it comes to dead stars, the more iconic they are, the more theories persist. One man claims Monroe's death was staged, and her psychiatrist, Dr. Ralph Greenson, committed her to a mental institution in New Brunswick, Canada, because of her breakdown she experienced due to the threats on her life. John Alexander Baker, author of Marilyn Monroe Alive in 1984, believes Monroe stayed in an institution for 20 years without being recognized before being released. According to the book outline, Baker says he picked up a hitchhiker in Nova Scotia in 1984 who claimed to be Monroe, and now a homeless, frightened, paranoid schizophrenic. She told him of her days as a former movie star, and Baker was taken by her resemblance to Monroe, as well as the similarity in her singing voice. Baker admits that the woman's mental state would make her story hard to believe for most, but says, I believe 99% that she really was who she claimed to be. So those are the 4 conspiracy theories behind Marilyn Monroe. I, for one, believe number 1, she was close to Kennedy. She dated both Robert and John. She knew a lot of behind the scenes details. I believe number 1, without a doubt. But it's just a conspiracy, or is it? Let me know in the comments down below. Please like, comment, subscribe, and help me get to 1,000 subscribers. Y'all have a good day now. Bye.